Hello everyone. This is a short video on how to create a company in the Management by Statistics version 3. Okay, so let's start the program. Good. By default, when you install the program for the first time, the username is admin, the password is password, small letters. For those of you who use the Management by Statistics for the first time, you will be prompted automatically to create a company. So the company setup wizard will be open for you. In the event that you have used Management by Statistics before and you want to create another company, you would do so by accessing the button Administration at the bottom corner, and you will go where it says Maintain Companies. Okay, and in the ribbon, click on Add New Company. Okay, so here I will create a company. This is a fictive name, so for the demonstration, I will enter an address. Okay. Since you're creating a company, obviously the option is active is checked. If in the future you want to deactivate a company, all you have to do is to reopen the company setup and just deselect the option for is active. So in my case, we're creating a new one, so obviously it is active. So then I click on next. Okay, this is the step where you select and control your calendar. So you have this section where you will control what days of the week you have open. This section is about the week ending day. For those who needs, for example, the bi-week ending date, we have this format. We have also, for those who keep track of the stats on a semi-month basis, we have the month ending basis and the yearly ending basis. Okay. Here at the top, you have select to review. So you can see over your full calendar, okay, what your choices reflect. So for example, like we're on a days open, so this is all the days which is open. So let's say you open on Saturday, you check Saturday, you will see on your calendar all the Saturdays open. Let's say you're not open on Wednesday, then all the Wednesdays are being deselected. Okay, so for my example, I will keep Monday to Friday. If I want to see on a calendar about my week ending day, I will select week ending day. So in this case, this is Friday. For my example, I would choose Thursday because we finish our week on Thursday. If I want to see what the bi-week ending day looks like, I will select this calendar. Okay, so if the day being selected does not fit, you can go here bi-week ending date and change a different set of dates. And you can continue like that for everything. Semi-month ending, if you have your semi-month ending on a different date, you can select such a thing. Okay, and also we have last ending date, could be the 20th of the month, or it could be the last day, or any other options, or any day of the month. Okay, but for my example, it's going to be last day. Again, you can see your choices. What is it going to be? Your quarter ending, the year ending date. So let's say if you have to choose April 15, that will be the example. Okay, I'll go back to December, last day. This is the most common year ending date for most of the customers that I know of. Okay, so then when I'm satisfied with my calendar, just check everything before I carry on and I click finish. Okay, so you have a brief preview of your choices. Click on next. At this point, the calendar is saved. The information about your company is saved. What we need to do now is to enter the information within the company itself. So I do recommend to click on view and print the getting started guide, because in it there is two worksheets which is very, very helpful to go through those steps, the steps we're about to do. Okay, basically the steps we're about to do, you will find it in that getting started checklist. So we did that step, so this is the next one which we're about to do. So that getting started checklist cover everything that I'm doing right now. Okay, so we'll go back, close the getting started checklist, then click on next. Now in the getting started checklist, there was the first worksheet which entered the information about those who work in your practice or your company. So this is where you will enter them. Okay, so after my name, I will enter when I was hired. Good, and click finish. Now, we do not have a button that says enter the name of the owner. So if you have to enter your name as the owner, please click on add employee and do so. So I will add a second employee for my example, and I will select May as the date of when she was hired. Okay, and you will continue to do so for each of the employees you have in your company. Then click on Next. So if you use the worksheets in the Getting Started guide, you will have your list of positions ready, your list of posts. So I do recommend with the highest position. Okay, select a date. Now, senior, the owner, being the highest in the position, does not have a senior position assigned. I can add another position. Okay, and that is my function. And the senior is senior to me. I mean, the owner is senior to me. While you are in this window, for each position, each post, you can enter the variable final product. You can use this link to find out more about variable final product. We'll close it, click finish. We'll create another position. I will assign second person, and she does respond to the IT technician. She was hired in May. Okay. You will continue to do so for each and every position you may have in your practice or your company. Okay, let's click on next. Now again, using your checklist, you will enter here all the statistics that you need. So we'll start with production. Okay, if you have abbreviations in the system, you can enter in there. If you do not use abbreviations, it's okay to repeat the name of the statistic. It will assign who is responsible for that statistic. And here you will choose the stat graph type. So there is 4 different type of graph. If you want to learn more, you can click on here, learn more. And so here you will see the definition for each statistic types. So most of the time you'll be dealing with a standard graph. Then after that, you'll be selecting how often you enter values in this statistic, okay? For those who use the system, most of the time you're being recommended to do your weekly stats so you can have a fast start. For those who have a little bit more experience, it's better to do daily stats. Okay, so I will keep daily stats. The category box is used for when you use the sum by category system. Okay, so if you want to learn more about categories, you can click here. Okay, this is an example. You have 4 salesperson and you want to total the sales, you can use sum by categories. Okay, so in my case, I'm not using it, so it will stay blank. Description, most of the time, the name of the stats says it all. So if you want to describe it a little bit more, you're more than welcome to enter some information here. Okay. Now the next window talks about the format of the number. Unformatted is whatever you type in the system, the computer will keep it for you. If you want the system to have some consistency, you can force the format by using formatted. And as you can see, whatever you enter, you will have this format. But I'm measuring dollars and I want my pennies, so I will put 2 decimals and I will put a prefix of the dollar sign. Okay. So this is the format of how I would like to see my numbers displayed on screen. The next option here is a series of options. Okay, so here you can learn more about what those options are. Okay, so you have the main window we've been covering before, the statistic graph type. Here we are on the option page, and we're talking about the different formats, decimal places, number of prefix. Okay, and more information here about smaller periods, sums into larger periods, and so on. Okay, so this is those options here. Okay, so in my case, since I'm doing daily statistic, I would like to have those daily statistics to sum up to bigger numbers. Like when I'm viewing my graph from a daily graph and I want to view it into weekly, all I need to do is just change the view. The computer will sum up the daily values into weekly values. And the same thing when I switch the graph from weekly to monthly. Okay. Here you can decide that the statistic you're creating is part of a major statistic, okay? So information center. It's like, like if you want to have this main board where you would like to see all your stats, okay? Then we have the options graph upside down. These options, you will almost never use it, except maybe for very few occasions, like bills or cancellations or refunds. Okay, this means the more you have, the lines of the graph needs to go down, and the less you have, the lines of the graph needs to go up. In the management by statistics, you can select that a graph is private, meaning only the user logged in the system can see it. Okay. But in my case, I want this graph to be part of the major statistics so everybody can see it. I will not select this option. Here you can control if the graph is active or not. So in our case, it is active. If in the future you no longer use this graph, you can deactivate it here. So now I'm done with that particular graph. I can add another statistic. I call this one repair calls, number of. I will assign. Okay, again, it's a standard graph, and I'm tracking it on a daily basis. This is just a whole number, so I do not need to format it, so I leave it unformatted. This is not a major statistic, so I do not use this option. Just click on finish. Add another statistic here. We'll assign this to the receptionist. This is a standard graph, daily again, and then click next. Okay, finish. And you go on like that for all the statistics you will have created in the system. Okay, and click on next. Now we are at the last step of the company setup. Okay, this is a very important step because this is where you will assign the user. When you log in a management by statistic, you have to use a login. Okay, so this is where you use it. Okay, so by default, the first login is admin. Okay, and I do recommend that the owner use this one for himself, because this is the first one who has the most right in terms of privilege and ability to do anything in the management by statistic program. So I will just click on edit here, and for this company I will go here and select the name of the owner, and I will also change the role and click private stats. Okay, now I have a second employee and I want to let her to get into the system, so I will click add user, and I will use Jane. Okay, and here I will assign the name I created for her, and I will put user. Okay, she's just a user, meaning she will be able to enter the statistic only for herself. She will be able to do her own condition write-ups, her own battle plans, and so on. So here I will create a password for her. Okay, so you need to have at least medium to get into the system. Okay, I will click finish. So depending of the number of user you purchase, you can assign. Okay, so I have one more. So if I had another person that would like to allow that person to get into the system, I will click on add user, and at that point I will be using all the users I have a license for. Then I click finish. Okay, so my company is done.